Hey, what's up? It's Brian here, and in this video I'm going to share a nice quote from the book Life Lessons on Fear. So this is on page 138. If we could literally reach into you and remove all of your fears, every one of them, how different would your life be? Think about it. If nothing stopped you from following your dreams, your life would probably be very different. This is what the dying learn. Dying makes our worst fears come forward to be faced directly. It helps us see the different light that is possible, and in that vision, takes the rest of our fears away. So, very powerful. Dying puts that fear of death right in front of us so we can directly face it, right? And the idea is all other fears in life are so minor in comparison to that fear of death that some people have. And there's a few ideas with this that I thought of that I want to mention. So one is the idea of why wait until death to have this perspective, right? Like, you gotta have that perspective that all of these other fears that a lot of people carry nowadays, they're so minuscule in the grand scheme of things. Like, I always try to think of kind of when I'm on my deathbed, will I care about this thing? And 99% of the time, the answer is no. Right, so one example is, when I was younger, I had a little bit of a fear of public speaking, making class presentations, that sort of thing. Partly because of my stutter that I had and still have. But I learned at a certain point, I don't know really when it was, maybe high school, college, some time period around that time. I just realized, like, this fear is just so minor. Like, I'm not going to care about this when I get older. So I just walk right into the fear. Like, I might stutter, I might not, but it just doesn't concern me at all. And at this point in my life, and for the past several years, I can't relate to anyone that has fear for just minor situations, like, you know, a big basketball game, or you know, going into a test, or asking a girl out, or talking to a stranger or something. Like, so many people, they have fears in these different scenarios, and it's just crazy to me because it's so minor in the grand scheme of things. And I just detest the word fear, to be honest. And another point is just the reflection of, like, man, what if I had no fears at all? Like, how different would my life be? And then another thing is, I thought of, like, is there a healthy fear of death to have? Right? And I think there is. I think the fear of death is like, man, I gotta accomplish all my goals right now because I know my clock is gonna tick at a certain point and I'm gonna be out. So I gotta do all I can with the necessary urgency to accomplish my goals, to love the people around me right now. Right, so that's like a healthy fear of death, right? The unhealthy version of the fear of death is like, man, I can't believe I gotta die. I feel so bad about that, right? But it's inevitable. It's gonna happen, right? And a lot of people, they just fear getting older, which is kind of the same thing, and you have to overcome that. And this ties in with the quote from Mark Twain too. The fear of death comes from the fear of life. A man who lives fully is prepared to die at any time. So that's like, when you're living fully, you recognize death is going to happen at some point. And it's kind of like I said, it's kind of like they kind of work together. Like, you know, when death is going to happen gives you the urgency to live fully right now. Right? So I think those are just some reflections that I thought of in regards to this quote. It's not directly tied in with the quote, some of the stuff I said, but it's just additional perspectives. So I really want to challenge you to really think about fear and just how it's so pointless, just all the minor fears that people have. And then really think about your own fear of death. Do you have it or do you not? And if you have it, is it the healthy version, or are you still trying to manage that unhealthy version of that fear of death? Are you still trying to overcome that, right? So my challenge to you is really develop that, you know, proper fear of death, if you want to call it that, over time. And then really let that be that motivating factor in your life to give it all you got right now here on earth until your time is out.
Go hard at life.